Santa Claus parades are always magical to some level, but magic doesn't just happen. That magic looks like at least one person doing a lot of work to organize. In the case of Courtice, Exit 425, that magic is made by the Courtice Community Association. In addition to the Santa Claus Parade, which did not run in 2023, the CCA has sponsored other events like concerts at the complex and the Christmas tree lighting event. Abigail Monaco is not a longtime resident of Courtice by some standards, but at 5+ years, she's been here longer than many, along with her husband and son. By day, she's an operations manager getting things done for Carbon 6, and after that, she chairs the Courtice Community Association, ever since she saw a request for volunteers to get community events like the Santa Claus Parade back on track. In fact, on Friday, August 12th, you likely saw her at the Courtice complex enjoying one of the concerts at the complex her team organized. Abigail is meeting me here today at Exit 425 to spill on some of that magic, to share what is happening this year in Courtice, and to pull back the curtain a little bit on how these great community events happen and how residents can help to share the workload a little bit more. Abigail, welcome to Exit 425.
Thanks so much, Steve, for having me. I'm excited to talk about it.
Who is the Courtice Community Association, and how are you rewarded?
I know we've talked about this before, but when you tell people you're from Courtice, the normal response is, "Where's that?" And the normal answer is 5 minutes between Bowmanville and Oshawa, or the one exit you might pass by quickly. And Courtice has over 30,000 residents now. We have tons of unique businesses. We are so special and lucky to have a really unique landscape and mix of suburban and rural. It's a beautiful community, and it blends a lot of diverse people together. And it's why we did decide to become the Courtice Community Association. And that was to bring the spirit of Courtice together and shine and highlight how great this area is. So with that being said, each event we plan is planned in order to limit the financial impact of residents of Courtice while encouraging and supporting our local businesses. What's most rewarding is just bringing everyone together, bringing the spotlight on Courtice, and making it more known of the amazing things we do offer here, the amazing businesses we have, and the wonderful residents we have that live here too.
So you guys are volunteers. You're not full-time employees of the town.
Correct. We are a separate, unique volunteer organization. We work well with our community departments like the municipality of Clarington and local council and local businesses.
And what is your team working on right now? And the production of this podcast will be complete after the August 12th concert at the complex. Maybe talk about that and how much you enjoyed putting it together. And then what's next after that?
Yeah, so we did the July 16th concert at the complex, and we had the July 19th actually, and then the August 16th concert this coming Friday. And so we're wrapping up planning on that. We are also already started working on the parade as early as December of last year. We already have it half planned and are working with the municipality, as well as starting to really dive into the tree lighting. We had such a great turnout, unexpectedly way more people than we anticipated, and we re-anticipate that again. So we're kicking it off really early.
Santa Claus Parade is always fun for the spectators. And what goes into getting that parade operational?
More work than I think anyone ever realizes. We started planning at the end of 2023, and I would say we're probably about 40% there right now. And we have worked weekly. We communicate daily, the volunteers. It's a lot of work. There's the administrative tasks like insurance and permits and permissions required from not just the region, not just the municipality, but local plazas, business, auxiliary police, etc. We also need people. It takes a lot of volunteers not only to plan giant events, but it takes a lot more people to put them on the day of. And so organizing and communicating and arranging for all these people to be cohesive and ready and understanding of each event takes a lot of effort. And then there's everything else. You got to market the parade. You need participants in the parade. You need bands to book. You need sponsorship dollars. You need Mr. and Mrs. Claus to have a float, and you need Mr. and Mrs. Claus to make sure their North Pole schedule's properly allocated for the parade. And it's just a lot of work, but it's fun work. it's work where everyone's excited about. It's work everyone's excited to put together. So although it's very long days at times, it's definitely worth it.
So how do you pay for this big event or any of the events that you are putting together?
Every event is covered by sponsorship dollars or any fundraising we do as our organization. We were very thankful to have multiple sponsors for the concerts at the complex, and any residual sponsorship dollars that remained after another event help carry over to additional events. Part of that is why we hope next year to hold even more events on top of concerts and on top of the parade and the tree lighting as well.
So you need to have like a team within your team whose focus is just getting sponsorships, really.
Yes, we really would need that. That would be lovely.
Wow. Um, and so you talked about participants. You need those people. How can people identify themselves to you if they want to help?
We have our social media, we have our email, we even have a form. We put it up every time we host any event for people to reach out to us, and our volunteer coordinator for whatever event it is will reach out to them to make sure they're available, if they're a minor, to get any permission slips or waivers signed, etc. And so we monitor all of our social media and emails frequently just to make sure we can try to have as many people included as possible to help us out.
I think you've mentioned before when we chatted about this that our counselors Anderson and Alhaje are helpful. How are they helpful to you?
Yes, I'm really lucky that they do really care about events locally and helping get them off the ground. They've joined every meeting. Any questions we have or support we need to get things answered maybe a little quicker, they help spearhead and push along and get us the answers we need, or help get us what we require to make it happen appropriately and timely with as little frustration as possible. It's been really great to be able to have that support across the levels, because there's a lot of planning with the Durham region, with the municipality of Clarington, and their help makes that a lot easier.
I know they talked about it, and they talked about just how wonderful the Christmas tree lighting ceremonies event was last year. They were disappointed that Santa Claus didn't show up for that, but they were pretty excited about that event. So probably really super excited that both of them are going to happen this year.
Yes, and we're doing the crazy thing of trying to plan them on the same day. So it'll be a perfect day of Christmas spirit in Courtice, but I will have Santa drive me home. It's okay.
I can just imagine what it's like at your workplace. If you're an operations manager, you're doing all this stuff for fun. Just how well that business must run with you in charge. Um,
I appreciate that.
can people donate to help defray costs?
Definitely, we have different sponsorship levels for each event, but even if it comes in under that, like, any donations are absolutely welcome. We are happy for residents to want to support it. We understand times are tough, and that's why so many of our events we try to keep as free as possible or as low impact. But if residents are happy and willing to join on, we're thrilled to have them included in however they're able to participate, whether that's financially or volunteering or helping organize.
I'm sure you'll rarely turn down extra help organizing things, right? So
Very rarely.
do you get any grumpy responses from things like the Santa Claus parade?
Unfortunately, yes. There is obviously the frustration, that this is going to be the first parade since pre-COVID, and that took a lot of frustration last year. But it kind of goes back to how much truly goes into putting on a very successful parade. The original members back in July 2023 were gone within a few months. I was scrambling to find more members just to try to get last year off while submitting applications. But overall, looking at how much needed to be done, the paperwork, the timelines, there's operations, there's multiple levels of government that need warning, police, and everything. To make it successful, it can't be something rushed. It needs to be something planned to make sure it's magical.
There's that, right? And somehow you got to protect that magic. So it must be satisfying when you on the day of an event when you're there and it's actually happening and the whole thing wraps up and people applaud and cheer and you get to breathe again. How great is that?
It's great until the next day when I'm on to planning the next event and then I'm back in it. But it's that exhilarating relief of, okay, we did it. It went great. We're going to post-mortem what we think could have done better so we can improve it. And now we're going to get to work on the next thing so that we make sure we have enough time and we're planning it as amazing as we can.
So at least you get to savor the finished product for a few minutes at least, right?
Exactly. At least 12 hours. So
Okay, that's good. Any really wild ideas that you're aiming to make happen for Courtice?
besides trying to do a tree lighting and a parade on the same day, which both take an amazing amount of organizational planning and operations, we are planning to bring a few special events next year. We're working on the feasibility with community partners, so I don't want to promise things, but ideally these events are to highlight those unique areas of Courtice that don't get a lot of spotlight on them, and people kind of forget they exist here and they go into Bowmanville or they go into Orono and Newcastle to get it when their neighbors have it already.
That's awesome. And what I know our beloved Chico. I remember chatting with him every time I went into his store, and one time he divulged to me that he'd never been to the Courtice waterfront, such as it is, and his daughter had dragged him down there. And so, in all the years that he was here, it was only in the last 6 months that he managed to get down to the waterfront, and he couldn't believe how amazing it was and what incredible potential it has. So, we get so busy in our community, back and forth to work, back and forth to arenas, dance classes, theaters, all that sort of thing. And sometimes we just don't have that time to go and see some of those really cool, unique places. And there are a few of them, aren't there?
There are, and we're so lucky that you drive 5 minutes any way from Courtice and you're almost in an entirely different area, whether you're near the lake or you're surrounded by corn stalks or you're in the city. It's very lucky that we have that, and it's so rare to be able to do that.
And I won't say anything more about that because I agree with you entirely. So, again, are you currently looking for more volunteers?
Yes, we always need more volunteers, whether it's the day of or if you're interested in joining a committee, or even if it's just for specific events you want to either help plan or be a part of. We always need more volunteers.
And so we're going to wrap up, but and thank you very much for meeting me here at Exit 425. But for people who are interested in the events and for whatever capacity want to reach you, what's the best way to reach out to you?
We can always be reached either at our Courtice Community Association Facebook page or our email, which is courticecommunityassociation@gmail.com.
Awesome. You mentioned other social media. Do you have any other social media for the association?
We have a separate page that we also monitor per event. So we do have special pages in social media for the concerts at the complex. We have Instagram set up for the Courtice Community, the Courtice Santa Claus Parade. And we are working on standing up a few additional social media accounts as well.
Awesome. That's terrific. I really appreciate you taking the time to sit with me and talk and meet me at Exit 425 and share all these interesting things about the Courtice Community Association and what we have to look forward to thanks to that group coming up in Courtice. So thank you for the interview, and thank you for all the hard work that you do on behalf of Courtice with the Courtice Community Association. Thank you for listening to this episode of Exit 425. Please like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and on YouTube. Our mission is to provide substantial information and education that goes where you want, because it's where we live. Exit 425 is a production of Studio 38 Audio, copyright 2024. My name is Steve Ray. If you have any questions or would like more information about Exit 425, join our Exit 425 Facebook group, like the Facebook page, check out Instagram, Medium, LinkedIn, X, and TikTok, or email me at exit425401@gmail.com. Exit 425. It's where we live.